Welcome back, everybody, to the 2023 Derby City Classic One Pocket Division. This is round 3. On your screen, you see two players. One of them, the great Jonathan Pinegar, a.k.a. Hennessy. And then from Eugene, Oregon, one of the good commentators in the game, Somerfield Habener. Somerfield is going to lose the lag. Let me go over the rules real quick for you guys, okay? So basically, each player gets a single pocket. The first of any 8 balls into that pocket wins the game. Any foul will cost you a ball, meaning no rail, scratch, etc. Alternate the break. A ball on the break is a re-rack. There is a 3-foul rule in effect, meaning 3 consecutive fouls. That will cost you the game. And we are not playing with jump cues. I am your host, Scott Frost, aka The Freezer, doing the best to bring you the action. Now, I want to touch on Hennessy touching the 1. I'm not saying that that's good or bad, but I don't know that it's legal unless the rack is on the 1. But starting off, we already noticed that this break is devastating. So I immediately see a shot to the 11, or excuse me, the 2 into the 11, into the 4, and you can nudge him up into the 14 and 7, and if you hit it with pace, you might get something to your side. He's in such a bad spot here. And this is what he shot, but he hit it a little too thin. Not enough oomph. And nothing has come out his way. The 2 has dropped. It's going to come up. He'd like to have gotten something to his side. I think a little bit more of a pop stroke there versus just a straight stun or stop stroke. Get a little pop to it and stun the cue ball backwards. It's probably your best route to nudge that cue ball up in the stack and get something to your side. I've got to give credit where credit is due. Pinegar's one-pocket game has really stepped up, and over the last couple years, his pool game in general has really stepped up. He's eyeing down the 12-6 combination, but I think that more importantly, he's going to play the cue ball 1 rail over to the left side unless this is just, well, he's elevating, so it must be good. Well, even worse. Somerfield needs to phone a friend, I believe. This is bad news bears. Not good. 2 shots after the break for Hennessy, and Somerfield's in trouble unless he can see the full 13. Pretty good semi-escape. I think that everything is kind of congested in Hennessy's pocket. Took a peek at the 9. He could stop on the 7 or glue him back to the 5 if he'd like. I don't think the 3 and 15 are a threat if he wants to push the 7 to his side and just stick him on top of the 5. If he wants to graze off the bottom of the 7 or kick the 13, that's okay, but I feel like you could lose your position actually doing that. Yeah, Somerfield could come off the bottom of the 4 now. So I think knocking the 7 away, maybe up towards the 1, and sticking him on top of the 5 might have been a good play there if he would have taken a peek at it. Maybe he was worried about the double hit. This might require a little luck, but I think you can sneak that cue ball in off of the 4 in between the 10 and 6. Obviously the scratch is big, so the speed would need to be good. Shout out to Somerfield and Eugene, Oregon, but also a shout out to Tony and Julie Bloom, the people that got me back playing after a 3-year hiatus, Mohawk Metal and Royalty Corps. Both companies owned by the Bloom family. And he did shoot the shot I was talking about, and I'm wondering if he got away with it. What a good hit by Somerfield. Pinegar giving him the tap of approval with his tip there right away. Yeah, and so that leads me back to the 7 ball that I feel he could have taken a shot at. Whenever you come out of the pack and go down table to the bottom rail, you're allowing your opponent to possibly get out of the position that you've put them in. Pinegar looked like he's gearing up to do something aggressive. Well, that was very aggressive. Completely buried Somerfield. Very good control there. It looked to me like he was gearing up to do something offensive. So that position I was talking about is back in his control. Somerfield has some problems. You can play the nip and tuck game here if you want. It's really just kind of prolonging the agony, but you never know. Your opponent could make a mistake behind it. I am looking at the top right corner, right? If you wanted to take a chance and kick one rail up and try and double him up behind the 4, the 4, 6, 11 is still available. So I can't fault him, and he's hit this well. It tells me he's good with that close-up game. A lot of people are uncomfortable with that. Hennessy removing the extension, which is common in close-up shots. Oof. How many times did he hit that? Just kidding. So they're going to continue to probably play this unless Somerfield has a look at maybe the 7 or the 15. I think the one rail kick to the top, just left of the top right corner, doubling him up on the 4, 6, 11 is probably the play here. Or it's an option for sure. You've got to force your opponent to do something to give you an opportunity out of this pickle. There were several issues with that. Number 1 being the red 3. The ball didn't bank. Number 2, where was he going with the cue ball? The 6 and 11 were available from pretty much anywhere on the table, so Somerfield taking what we would call maybe a flyer. Pinegar off to the races in game number 1. I think he'd liked a little bit more angle there. Can stun out for the 6 next. Can't tell if the 2 passes. Might get the other angle here. If the 2 does pass, I don't believe he can still play position on the 2 here. He's just going to punch over for the 6 or the 10. He's got a longer extension, which a lot of players are starting to do. I myself have an extension that's over 20 inches. Yeah, I'm 6'2 and a half, 6'3", but it comes up quite a bit. Oh, you like a little rub there, and he's got it. Now the 2 definitely goes. I believe it was welded to the 14 prior. But everything else goes as well. The 7-5 combination is good. Pinegar playing for 6. And I believe he can get him. I don't think you fool with the 8-13 here. You could try and draw into him and open him up or wiggle them a little. I don't think there's a reason to do that right now. He chose to do it, but the only reason I was a little concerned about it is because you could get flat on the 10 like this. So now he's got to either punch draw it up to the combination or get the short side of the 13. Can he go forward and get on the 2? Yeah, he's going to draw this. He's got a shot on the 13, but not ideal. He would like to have been a little flatter on this ball. I thought that he might try and come all the way up for the 7-5 combination or the blue 2 on that shot with the path that the cue ball was taking. But that being said, he knocks this down. I think he's pretty much home free. He's hit it fat. He's hit it fat, and I will say we're playing on 4¼ inch diamond pockets this year. This cloth is new. It's been through a bank tournament, so it's got a little play. Can Somerfield play the 2 into the right long rail, into the top of the 13? The 2 goes into the 8. The 8 goes in. Somerfield gets position on the 7 and runs out? Maybe. Yeah, I think he's got to play the 2 into the top rail there, onto the top side of the 13, and just stun over towards the 1. Or if he can hold there, it's even better. Yeah, that's not going to do it. He's overdrawn the ball, and that new cloth will get you there. You've got to really be careful with the draw. Cue ball tends to draw a little bit easier than you think. Hennessy's got a real good look. This lays pretty natural as well to drop down for the 8. 7-5-13 combination. The 13 is a big ball. And he's overcut it. He's got a good shot on the 5 now. Come over for the 7. You want to stay above the 7. You want to stay off the rail as well. He's playing for 3. Well, he's motioned like he didn't want that ball to continue rolling, and I don't blame him, but I believe he can go forward with a touch of left, catch the 8 heavy, if he chooses. You've got to catch the 7 pretty thick here, though. Might even be able to use a touch of right, but the right might throw the cue ball away from the 8. He's going to elevate. So does that mean he's coming up to the 2? Or is the 9 wired? The 9 must be better than I think if he's playing this like this. It looked to me like it was going low. And it still looks like it's going low. I'm a little surprised he did that, playing for 2 in that position. You could have bumped the 8. Wasn't guaranteed to come away with a shot bumping the 8, but I think it was pretty high percentage. Can he twist the 3? Use the 2, 14, and 9 as blockers. That's what he's looking at. I don't want to hit this at a pocket speed, and the easier you hit it, the more the English will take. He's going to use a left English to turn the 3 to the right. You can hit the ball a little bit fuller as well when you do this. Speed is good. The hit is good. Jonathan Pinegar takes game number 1 in this race to 3. A lot of threes going around because we're also in round 3. Yep. And so this event is hosted by these sponsors: Diamond Billiard Products, the best product in the industry; Ian Simonos and Simonos Cloth; Aramouth Billiard Balls; Outsville AccuRack; AccuStats Video Productions; and Masters Billiard Chalk. Thank you guys so much for putting this tournament on. Somerfield to break, Eugene's finest. Can he get some coverage here? He's made a ball in the break, and that's fortunate for him because he sold the 7 out. Now, what I did notice there is that it looked to me like he had the rack turned in the wrong direction. What I mean by that is it looked like it was twisted to where the 7 was high on the right side. And being twisted either direction is no good, but you definitely don't want it twisted that way. So let's see if he makes an adjustment with the rack. Obviously, he mishit the 1, or didn't hit the 1 at all. Wonder if we can get that straight on view. There we go. And maybe it's just me, but it looks like the 13's a hair. Yeah, so I feel like the 13's high, or this rack is turned a little to the right. He's caught the second ball a little thick, and this is why the 13 is shot out the way it did. He didn't sell it out, but he couldn't get the cue ball high enough. I think Hennessy has a kick to the 11, but it's vital to keep that rack straight so that the balls break accurately. He's just rolling this kick, and I don't blame him. It keeps coverage on the 13. So is this a time to go up table? I don't know if the 5 looks real good on off the 15. But you really can't put him behind the pack due to where the 13's at, right? So do you chip off of the 1, maybe going rail first with the cue ball, putting him up in the top right corner, applying some pressure on Hennessy? Or do you... Let's see what Somerfield decides to do. Yeah, there was a couple concerns about that shot. Even if he misses the pile there, he's going to give Pinegar an opportunity to get out of the position. I think you apply the pressure on your opponent if you get him up in that right corner. Definitely not picking on Somerfield. He's a very great player in his area. I don't know if he's got a lot of experience playing 1 pocket. And even if he does, playing a great player in a short race to 3, things can happen. I immediately see that Hennessy could cross the 11 into the bottom of the 13 and maybe send the cue ball into the 10. I think he's looking at something a little more passive. Can he see enough of the 10 to bank it into those balls? Or is he going to come off of the 4 and put him over there behind the 10? He's a very tough player to predict because he keys up and gears up like he's going to hit something very hard or with a lot of speed. Is he looking at playing the 5? No, I don't believe so. He does have a window to the 4, so this is a real nice look. He's got a window to the 4. Boy, I think the cross on the 11 with a heavy ball hit with inside English, pinching the 11, I think the 13's a big ball there. And I feel like you can go into the 10 here, or even behind it. He's going to 2-rail it out. Yeah, A little concerned about that decision because you know you're going to put something to your side and a big opportunity for Somerfield. Yeah, anytime you're two-rail that ball out of your opponent's side, you've got to be conscious of the fact that that ball is going to hit something, whether it's the pile or another ball lower, and it 9 times out of 10 seems to leave some type of a bank. I don't think Somerfield's got much to worry about here, and even if he does, you've got to get yourself going. This is a makeable bank, and it carries position on the 1 at minimum. The last thing you want to do is worry about what goes in your opponent's hole when you have an aggressive play that you're supposed to make. So let's see if he knocks this bank down or if he's playing something different. Creative shot. He did play a power shot. I can't fault him for the shot. He was looking at the 6, and it actually threatened the pocket. So I can't fault him for the shot. Look at the position of these balls. He's changed the position by quite some margin. Hennessy looking like he's considering taking on the 13. It does carry a position to the 5. But it is definitely not free. Yeah, I don't think he's playing this. He's a pretty conservative player, as straight a shooter as he is. He shoots the right shot quite a bit. So he's protected the 5 on his side, utilizing the 6 in the pack. Do you bank the 3 towards the 1 and stick him up on the gum up top? Get the 2. That looks like a pretty good shot. I don't believe that there's any risk of selling out. If you catch the middle to the high side of the 2, the cue ball's going to go up into the 7. You might luck something in or get something very close. Yes. 6 played as well, so it lined up nicely. Great shot for Somerfield Habener. He's a big guy as well, very tall. I believe he can get to the edge of this 10. But does he have an extension? Well, there's a form of an extension. It's called the bridge. Something you'll never see myself use because I'm absolutely horrible at it. This is awfully awkward with a bridge. He's forced to take caution in touching any other ball. You move 2 or more, it is a foul. Or is he utilizing the gap? I'm left-handed. A lot of other players are left-handed. I think I should just go down there and shoot it for him. Well, that's the problem with the bridge. He looked like me there. It's easy to flubber the shot, and he has flubbered it a little bit weak, and I believe the 10 was tracking to his hole. Hennessy plays great bank pool. Like I stated early on, he's a very accurate shot maker, so I expect him. He's rolling this, though, so it gives a little opportunity to lengthen out. I think he still gets it down, and he did. Could nip off this 13 and just weld Somerfield to the back of the 3. Wonder what he's got with the straight on view here. I wonder if he's got anything. Well, he's snookered me. There we go. He could remove the 13 and 3 and just draw the cue ball down, but he's going to expose the 5 doing that. I don't think he wants to do that. Is he looking to play the 14 off the balls and maybe punch forward? Boy, it's asking a lot. I don't see you playing the 14 off the balls and drawing back. I think you could leave a cross corner. Playing the 14-8-2 combination. I feel like that's a big ask in this position. You've gotten out of the break, and he's shooting the shot that I said, and he's actually moved about 36 balls to his side. Those just did tie up, and he is not happy about it. But I like the play. He didn't come all the way down because he didn't want to give Somerfield an easy look at the 5. So a real nice play there. I think you've just got to take your medicine here. If you can see the 5, which it looks like you can, you just want to come off the bottom of it. Don't open the 15 and 3 up. Play him on the bottom rail here. Get these balls up table and at least give yourself an opportunity to win this game in a few innings. Trying anything here could prove deadly. This is nice, very nice. I didn't think you could see all of the 5 there, so the camera angle had me a slight bit fooled. Really nice control by Somerfield. He's glued him to the 7. Might actually force Hennessy from Tennessee to take some type of a foul. He's looking to lay the cue ball up there. Can he do that banking the 5 or the 1? 5 looks awful steep. Is he considering coming off of the 15 and laying him up in the corner? It's not a terrible option. Opens those balls up. He's looking at the 1. If he's looking at it, that tells me that it must have a path past the 15 and 3. And if it doesn't go by them, he will open them up. So this is all cue ball here. Somerfield's got a decision to make. Does he take the 5 on with inside English and try and come between the 3 and 15? Does the 14 go? If you're going to play a passive shot, really need to be careful because the 1 banks. Yeah, I would consider trying to knock this down. Oh, he's played a nice hit there. Can he see the 3? If not, excuse me, the 1. If not, that's a pretty unfortunate rub off the 3. That being said, if he doesn't pocket the ball, the cue ball's in a real nice spot. So, a nice clean hit by Somerfield. I wouldn't let that get to you too much. It is bothering him. I would consider elevating on this 15 and maybe going into the 3 with the cue ball. Move the 15 to your side and go into the 3. I don't know what you want to do with the 3 here. It could be dangerous doing something with it. Yeah, if he's considering pocketing the 3 in the top right and drawing the cue ball behind the 15, it's just a big ask. If he doesn't get it done, he could leave a cross corner on the 1 or the 14. Could sell the 15 straight out if you're considering doing that. Is he looking to bank this? Going to the pile? Yeah, I think he's going for a little too much there. And to add insult to injury, the 3 has gone off the pile and opened a bunch of balls up. So he came with a great shot, didn't get the best of luck with position. And you've got to wonder, did that affect him in his next play? Jonathan Pinegar needs 7. And I think they're available. The 9 definitely goes if he gets to the 7 and the 3. Does the 7 pass the 3? Do you go to the 7 now? Or do you shoot the 3 now and go to the 1? It's obviously player preference. Yeah, this angle, the 3 looks a little steeper than the other angle. I think you've got to remove the 15 here, but he might go at the 3. It lays natural to send the cue ball up into the 14. And even better, he's gotten the most out of that. Can he draw back to the 14 now? If not, he'll draw all the way out. Looks to me like he's going to power draw this ball a little. Okay, he went to the 14. Not terrible. Like to have had a little more run out of that cue ball. So he is a little steeper than he expected. He's going to go into these balls here. Well, we know the 7 goes. Does the 12 go? That's what he's looking at. And if the 12 doesn't go, he could get some type of a cut on the 15. Just want to float up there somewhere 2 rails out. Just below that side pocket maybe, or even above it. Right there would be ideal. Especially if the 12 doesn't play. Not a lot of risk at this shot as well, because I don't believe the 4 passes to Somerfield's pocket. The heavy favorite to make this ball. He's playing for 4. Nice clean hit. Pointing to where he wanted the cue ball. I think he'll be just fine. Playing for 3. Position's a little demanding here. See how he works this out. Don't think he wants to go 3 rails. That's a risk of missing the ball. He's going to draw. Can he punch 2 rails above the 12, or can he draw it above the 13 now? Looks steep to me to be able to do that. Yeah, it was real steep. But he did the most important thing, which was get the ball down. He's playing for 2. Does he bank at this 9? Yeah, I don't think he does. It's a little risky. It's an option. It's a definite option. And he could go forward. I was looking at maybe drawing it below the side pocket with pocket speed. He looks to want to do something with the 13 here. Is there a two-railer available? No, he's two-railing it to his side and just dropping down with the cue ball. Nice protection on the 13. Very containing right there. Didn't look like much, but Somerfield is really looking at nothing here. I think you've got to come off the bottom of the 2 here and try and wiggle something open. Lay that cue ball down on this bottom rail. Come off the bottom of the 2 thinly. Maybe wiggle the 8-4 open. If you can, it's a little thin. Don't think I'm doing anything with the 9. Just seems like it could pose some problems. You've got to hit the 9 with the pace to get the cue ball down below the 13. So then where does the 9 go? You could lose control of both balls, let alone one. You could bank the 2 into the 11 and send the 11 across to your side and open them up that way as well if you want to catch the 2 a little fuller. Just follow through and get the cue ball down to the bottom rail. Yeah. The problem with that is that nothing goes in his hole still. So the threat of putting Somerfield up table is always available. Not that Hennessy's going to do that right now, but it is always available. You can't win if they don't go. Does have a nice cue ball, though, on the play. I think Pinegar looking to straight back this 13 and just draws cue ball one rail over to the bottom rail. Or excuse me, the 11. Now he's going forward, and this is kind of what I was talking about. If they don't go in your pocket, the up table threat is real. Real nice cue ball right there. And this will be a problem for Somerfield unless he just wants to cross the 2 up. Lay this cue ball down on the bottom rail. It's about all you can do. If you want to go a little further with that, maybe play the 2 into the 8-4 off the bottom rail. Try and jiggle them open. You're just going to play the 2 to the bottom rail doing that. I think this is a tougher hit. It's turned out okay. Not terrible at all. I don't know if he's got Hennessy snookered on the 13, but if he does, then I really like the shot. So Somerfield's showing his creativity. And in this view, it looks to be that he's got him snookered on the 13. Nice shot there. Trying to look at his options. I think he's going to go forward on this 2. What's that 2 to settle? Well, he's left a bank. He's left a bank, and there is potential behind it. You can swing at this 2 ball. I believe the 8 goes now in Somerfield's pocket. Is he looking at the 2 or is he looking at the 13? Now he's looking at the 2. Yeah, you're behind in the game pretty good. There's 4 balls available if you can knock this 2 down. Or is it just a little steep? Might be a little concerned at losing the cue ball here. Oh, nice cue ball. Immediately, what a great hit that was. Did he double himself up on everything? Even if the 8 goes, he's elevated over the 12. Excellent hit. Giving himself an opportunity to get back in this game. So 2 shots in a row from Somerfield that were very, very effective.
Okay, round 11 of the Pinks. We have 8 players left. Table number 6, Big Habener, Joshua Filler.
Don't force anything here. Look at the 12 ball. You could still utilize that 9 to double him up on the 13.
Brian Shabib. And table 18 is
Does
Roberto
it play?
Lopez.
Ooh, it almost went. So it might have had a pocket. There was a big reward there if he drops it, so I can't fault him. Well, he's given Pinegar something to think about. He could just bank the 13 up past the side pocket if he wanted. He could cross at the 13. I think it's highly aggressive. He doesn't have anything in the future. He's chose to remove both balls. Felt like something else could go wrong there. He didn't. He's at the table. Turned out real nice. Can Somerfield bank the 8? I believe you can twist this in. The easier you hit this, the more that ball will take the English. I think you can bank it going forward without any risk of selling the 4 out. You just don't want to elevate. Don't want to hit it too hard. Hey, he's hit it a little firm. It's never had a chance to turn. Pinegar might cross this ball, or he might just play the 2 rails out. Feels good about his position. It's kind of interesting. I've seen him do that a couple of times where he could have placed the cue ball on the bottom rail, or he goes to the side rail. Going there, it's a little easier to get to the bottom of the cue ball for your opponent. I think for everybody at home, you want to work a little harder at getting the cue ball to the bottom rail. Makes life much more difficult to get that cue ball back down. Maybe the angle didn't suffice for that, so I'm not knocking him for the shot. I'm just pointing it out. See how Somerfield was able to dig into the cue ball? If the cue ball's where it's at right now, meaning if Hennessy did that, makes life much more difficult. Typically, when you're that close to the ball that Hennessy had, you can control it and find a way to get it there. He's just going to roll this forward, maybe chip the edge of it and come back down. And he'll be happy with this. He does not mind playing with a 6-3 ball lead and a 1-0 lead in this race to 3, especially with the positioning of these balls. So I think Somerfield has to come off the 4 again If he can put that cue ball right where it was last time, he's going to leave him a little off angle on the 13. You might even be able to come off the 4 with a little bit more level of a cue. Maybe use the 4 to block the 13. Send the cue ball 1-2 to the bottom rail with a lot of right English. He's definitely aware that he needs to be careful here. Yeah, so he chose the second option. He didn't quite get there. He hit the 4 a little thin. That's what caused the 4 to go in and the cue ball to stay up above that back rail. I don't know that it's going to hurt him, though. I don't think that Hennessy will take this risk, the 13. And that is why the 11 passes the 9, and the 9 definitely goes. Doesn't want to leave him up there anywhere. That's the only way to get your opponent back in this game. I don't see him shooting that bank. Unless he hits it with some speed to clear the cue ball, I just don't see it. Yeah, playing all cue ball there. I'm a little surprised he went into those balls. It's not bad. Nice cue ball. He's left him an awkward angle on this bank on the 11. It might look natural on the screen, but it's not. You're going to have to elevate in order to pocket it. If you really want to make it, I think you've got to elevate a little bit to shorten it up. He's hit it about as good as you can hit it. Very nice hit on the ball. A little weak, but really nice hit. It required a very accurate contact. Kick and stick coming up. It's coming from behind. It's a medium speed. You don't want to overhit this. Pretty much perfectly executed. I think you've got to come off the 8 here. You do not want to make the 4. It's okay. Does the 2-railer on the 11 play? Is the kiss involved? So the only thing I could criticize Somerfield for there was putting left spin on it. I think if he just clips that ball with a center ball or a center high, there's no risk of leaving anything. Then again, Hennessy didn't shoot the 2-railer. And the wedge is forming. And this is kind of tough to call here. I think he's just going to come off the top of the 11 and bring it back over towards the side pocket. Play the 11 into the 12. He's going to go into the 13 and maybe try and wiggle something open. He'd like that to stop, so he didn't want it to lay right in front of the side. Nice cue ball. Hennessy's not looking to just roll this 13 in. The reason being is the 13 would spot up. Somerfield would have a bank on the 11. He's considering kicking at this ball from behind, similar to the shot he just shot a little bit ago. I'm not a huge fan of the shot. The only reason being is if you hit it too thick, you're going to leave a cross corner. Like this. That shot seems to go wrong more often than not, unless you're Tony Chohan. There's nobody that hits that bank better than him in that position. So Somerfield has a chance to creep within 2 balls this game. You don't want to overthink this, right? I think he's a little concerned at losing the cue ball up there to the 9 and 11. He's caught it too thin because he was concerned about that. He's looking to cross this with a maximum outside. Or is he just going to knock this out 3 rails? I think he's crossing it. Yeah, watch the cue ball. Watch the cue ball. He's lost the cue ball. I'm a little surprised at all the shots he's passed up, and then he takes that on. You know the cue ball's tracking towards the side or the corner, 2 rails, and he did scratch. It's going to set Pinegar back to 5. Somerfield staring down the pipe, tying this match up if he can get this 7 down and bank the 13. If you don't feel comfortable rolling it, then you could hit it with a speed and maybe go into the 13. There's nothing wrong with that either. It's all how you feel at the table. But if you are going to shoot the 7 and you are going to roll it, you need to envision this ball going in. You do not want negative thoughts creeping in your mind here. Oh, if I miss this, I leave him a bank. Oh, if I miss this, I leave him the 13. Oh, if I miss this, I lose the game. That's not going to work. Clear those negative demons. Bear down, knock the 7 in, and take the bank on the 13. I don't know what's happened here. But he's made a good hit. He must have miscued. Yeah, he must have miscued. Wow. And the speed that he hit that cue ball tells me he didn't feel comfortable rolling it, so I think he was going to come up under the 13. Didn't hit it hard, but he didn't hit it soft either. That's going to prove detrimental to him. I think that Jonathan Pinegar is going to bank at this 4. Just leave him flat on the 7. So pretty unfortunate there for Somerfield. He worked his way back into this match. Had a chance to tie this game up. I think that's going to cost him pretty heavily. Nice cue ball. He doesn't want that to catch the 7. It did. But still, trouble for Somerfield. Chalking up. I don't blame him. You can ticky behind the right side of the 4. You've got to watch the speed here. don't know about going towards this 13. It's very tough to hold this cue ball down here and not sell something else out. I think you soft ticky behind the 4, leave the cue ball in the corner. He got a double kiss. He is going to leave the 13. A little frustration from Somerfield. Very understandable. Anywhere up table here. He just wants to knock this down to get a look at the 7. Oh, he's hit it thick, right? Yeah, he's definitely hit it thick. Little jump up or body movements as well. Seemed awful quick the minute he got down, too. Typically, he'll take 2 or 3 practice strokes. You have to shoot this 7 ball. Unless he's concerned of scratching off the 13, but man, after a mistake like that, you miscue, he misses that ball. You really want to punish him with at least a ball here. Send a message. So this is a big shot. Yeah, that was my concern. Scratching off the top of the 13 must have always been there. You could have manufactured an angle with low cue ball, or maybe rolling it much, much softer. That's going to cost him. Pinegar playing for 3, and we see them on our screen. The 13 or the 11, 2, and 7. I'm sure Somerfield will look back at this situation if he does go on to lose this match. Possibly kick himself for the miscue, but he can also take some positive things away from it. Let's see how this plays out. He was quick again. He rolled that ball, but once he got down, he was real quick to shoot. I feel like he takes a little more time when he's down on the ball, so maybe just a bit uncomfortable. He's playing for 2. So he must have had the angle where he was drawing into the 7 there. I thought he could just draw back. And even if he runs into the 7, he would have had a better bank on it than what he has here. He chose to go forward, probably betting that he gets on the 9 or the 11. Playing for 1. Oh, he's hit it well. Really well. Really well. Nice shot. Jonathan Pinegar takes game number 2, leading this match 2-0. He wants to confirm that he has 8, and he does. And not only does he have 8, it's also his break. Do us a favor. Railbirds TV bringing all the action to you, the best content they can. Like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow along. Thank you so much. And there he goes, touching that 1, and now he's tapping it. If it's within the rules, that's okay. Now it looks to me like the 4 is high again. It could be the camera angle, But if the 4 is high, for you folks at home, then Pinegar is breaking from the correct side because he's going to catch less pressure on the second ball. Notice the third or the corner ball didn't come flying out. It did land in outer space. Didn't exactly just stay there either, though, did it? Immediately looking. Somerfield wasting no time. Can he get to any part of the 11? Yeah, that's a good angle. The problem is I don't think he can get to enough of the 11. So even though this doesn't look too devastating, it's pretty bad. He's got him cut off from the heavy ball on that 11. He's looking to come off the possible top side of the 12 and creep behind the 4 and 11. I don't know that that's on. He may be forced to take a foul. Could shoot into the 15 and draw onto the 13 and maybe send the 10 to his side. But really not an aggressive play, passive play. Don't know that there's a big future in that. Can't really do anything with the bottom of the 11. You're going to leave a bank on the 12. Now he's looking at the 15, I think. This is all cue ball here. Yeah. It's about all he could do. He did well with the cue ball, but it's not going to get much better, I don't think. Pinegar can come off the 2 or the 14 and put him right back where he was. Golden rule playing this game is if they didn't like where they were to begin with, then just put them back there. If you have the opportunity. It's a settle. Boy, he's close to leaving a cut on that stripe. I believe it's the 12. I might take a look at it. I don't think you're going to get anything better. A lot of people would spin that ball in. I don't like the spin. I think a center ball cut, you're really just bearing down to make the ball and get yourself out of a bad position. If you get position after pocketing it, it's a bonus. But I think this is the time to attack. I just don't see it getting any better for him. Unless he thinks maybe he can draw off the bottom of the 1 and suck down behind the 4 and 11. Boy, that takes real control. Very difficult shot. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm taking a stab at that stripe just because of the way the balls are laying. I'm just going to go all out, fully commit on cutting that ball in. You don't want to spin it. The reason being is that too much to judge. It's too easy to catch the ball too thick or too thin. When you're using a center ball, you know exactly where the cue ball's going as far as the hit. And he's looking to come off the bottom of the 1, I believe, and this is very difficult. Yeah, and this is the problem with the shot. You've got to hit it so accurately. So I'll bet you Somerfield would like to have that one back, which is understandable. Pinegar staring down the barrel of at least 2 or 3 balls here. Probably 4. Possibly get out. Know that he meant to catch the 11 there. It looked like he was keying up to miss it. Turned out just fine. Looks like he's going to... Can you roll this in and just take the bank, or do you want to come up for the 15 now? The only concern with this... Well, you don't want to get elevated either. That's another concern. He's gotten completely elevated. And he's right-handed, which makes it even tougher. He's going to try and cinch this ball and take the bank. I don't know that he can even reach it, though. Yeah, he's going to have a hard time, and he's not a short guy. I'd say he's close to 6 foot. But boy, when you're elevated over a ball like that, past the side pocket, does he have insurance? Meaning the 7, is it wired up? Must be close the way he was looking at it. Yeah, and he's taking another look. Boy, that's unfortunate for Somerfield if those balls are wired up. But then again, it's a little unfortunate that Pinegar got elevated over the 10. Oh, it is stone cold wired up. Oh, and this is laying pretty good as well. You can draw off the 5, possibly get a shot on the 3. I think the cue ball might come off the bottom of the 2 as well, so it'll guide you back over just above the 3. If he misses the 2, he'll get position on the 2. I like to use the term snap draw, so he's going to snap draw this. But what is the 5 doing? He might get some action off the 8 with the 5. If he just punches it, I think you've got to draw this ball. Yeah, you've got to draw this ball. Okay, he didn't catch the 2, and they opened up like the Red Sea. Jonathan Pinegar playing for 4 to advance into round 4, and they are all right there. Nice clean stroke there. May have come a little further than he wanted, but he can go to the 13 and just follow forward and come back over for the 2. He could draw up for the 8. This is all preference here. It's a little weak, so he's probably going to cut the 15 now and come back over for the 2. He's playing for 2. Here's played a pretty solid match. A couple unfortunate things have happened for Somerfield, but Pinegar will advance into round 4 with a 3-0 win over Somerfield Habener. Thank you guys so much. I am your host, Scott Frost. Until next time, see you soon.